poverty is so hard for us, just for all of us. We need any reason why our condition is the way we is. We would never look within. We would never say, well, what have I done to contribute to this?
Yes.
We always look at the outside sources, because then that gives us a reason to sulk in our own misery.
We were raised to be comfortable with mediocrity, be comfortable with whatever is offered to us, and just be grateful for crumbs. Besides the fact that historically, Africans had their own way of doing things.
Yeah.
My father had his own way of doing things and it worked. I've got my own way of doing things.
Is it harder as a foreigner to be employed in South Africa? And not only a foreigner, but a foreign woman?
What a question.
Yeah. So, I'm going to tell you a quick brief. So on this podcast, we pretty much just talk to Black travelers, whether you've traveled to South Africa, from South Africa, to and fro the world. It's nice to hear the perspective of a Black traveler in this globe, because a lot of us are scared to leave home. And a lot of us need somebody to push us, somebody to show us that it's not so scary in the outside world. So it's great because you're a Tanzanian living in South Africa.
Correct.
And how long have you been here?
I've been here for quite a while. I'd say since 1999. I came here at a very young age. I think it was about 9. I couldn't speak English, by the way, because in Tanzania, the only language that was taught in English was English. And basically everything else, maths, geography, you name it, was taught in Swahili. So the shift to South Africa was quite exhausting. But strange enough, I managed to learn the language quite well after a year.
So what language do you know the most here?
So I speak English, I speak Swahili fluently, I speak Xhosa, I speak Zulu, I speak Tswana and Sotho, 6 languages. Oh, I forgot Afrikaans because they force us to learn the language.
Wow.
In school. So it's 7.
That's incredible. Like, how are you able to process? Because one problem I have is whenever I walk up to someone, when they give me a greeting, I have to process in my head which greeting they're saying. So when people are talking to you, are you processing, or you just flow just from knowledge?
Survival mode. I had to learn these languages based on survival, because I was a foreigner coming in here.
Yeah.
And people speak the languages, and I cannot understand. I cannot fit in. I cannot add my value to the community.
Right.
So, and also in terms of school, right? If you don't pass Afrikaans, you fail. You are unable to basically attend university.
Really?
So I had no choice. Yeah.
So, okay, what is the most difficult language that you've learned since you've been here? Xhosa?
Yes.
I love the clicks. The clicks are my favorite part of the language.
They sound very attractive, but yeah. I think that's personally the most complex language I've had to learn.
So are you using all these languages in business, or
No, not at all. Not in South Africa. English. That's the go-to.
Really?
Yes, that's it. Those languages are basically reserved for my personal life.
Right.
Let's say I'm with a Xhosa crew, my friends from varsity, or I'm with my other friends from a different crew, I use those languages. Or if I'm in an area where it's mainly Xhosas, like the Eastern Cape, etc., etc. Yeah.
Okay, quick thing. There's a small echo. Okay, cool. So yeah, so in the business sector, do you feel like, have you lived anywhere else? That's probably the first question I would ask.
Yes, I have.
Where have you lived?
I've lived in Zambia, I've lived in Tanzania, I've lived in Kenya, and I've lived in South Africa.
Wow. So you're obviously in South Africa now, but what is your favorite place you've been to?
That's a difficult one, honestly. I honestly love Kenya so much, even though sorry Tanzanians, I love Kenya so much because I feel Kenya is a mixture of everything, everything that you can get in Africa, you get in one spot in Nairobi.
In Nairobi.
Ideally, I would, in the perfect world, if there was an opportunity for me to live there, it would be Kenya. Nairobi. But I love South Africa as well, except for the crime. It's beautiful, people are wonderful, but the crime.
What crime are you experiencing that I'm not?
Listen, first of all, you're a man. You have to understand that.
So your level of crime feels a bit different.
Yes.
Okay.
So, as a woman, even just walking to the shop, I'm so paranoid that someone can randomly snatch my phone. Someone can randomly snatch my purse. Someone can randomly rape me. And mind you, I'm not even living in certain areas. I'm living in a very comfortable space. In a fancy place. Let me not lie. I live in a very nice area, okay? And even then, I'm not safe because I'm so paranoid because of the stats, because of the stories I've heard from my friends and families that have gotten raped, that have gotten shot, that have gotten hijacked right in front of their gates. So that is the only problem I have with South Africa. It's the crime rate. And it mainly, obviously, affects women. Yeah.
Cool. So, okay. So, if you feel unsafe, why are you still here?
It's my home. It's home. And I make my money here. I mean,
No,
how am I supposed to survive? I make my money here, and I'm taking all the precautions.
Yeah.
Right? And nothing has happened to me thus far because I'm careful. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm careful, rather. And even that, something can still happen to me. But yeah.
So, as a woman, you feel unsafe. How about through the business sector? Is Black women climbing the business ladder, or is it still disproportionately?
I love this question. Oh wow, it's I can literally spend 2 hours speaking about this. Because now it's popular to have a Black female executive.
Gotta have a queen.
You know what I mean? And it also looks good for the company in terms of triple BE stuff. Yeah, you guys can research that. But ultimately, in reality, on the ground, Black women are not winning the way we think we're winning.
Yeah.
There are a lot of limitations. There's a lot of aggression in the workplace. And we always on survival mode. I know at times I'll talk to my mom, say, how are you doing? I said, I'm fighting for my life. It's like, Aretha, don't say that. I'm like, no, I'm fighting for my life. I'm in corporate. I'm fighting. I'm dealing with men.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with men that don't have kids, number one. I'm a mother. I'm dealing with men that somehow feel that they are superior to me because I'm a Black female. There is that underlining mentality. Even though at times you don't think you have it, you do have it. You still think you're superior to me because I'm a woman. A Black woman, mind you.
Right.
In Africa. Even worse. So we're literally at the bottom of the barrel. So it's a very complex space to discuss because I kid you not, one side, yes, we want to elevate Black women. There's a few executives, and the executives that get those positions, usually it's when the company is falling apart, they want to put a Black woman as an executive. It's never when it's rising, if you look at your research in South Africa. Yeah.
So as it relates to employment, is it harder as a foreigner to be employed in South Africa? And not only a foreigner, but a foreign woman?
What a question. Listen, there are laws placed in every country around this world that prioritizes their citizens, correct? Sure. And I think that's quite normal, right? Yeah. Whereby, let's say there's a position, they will prioritize their citizens, then, unless you're highly qualified. And I think that's the same thing that's happening in South Africa. The priority is the citizen, unless you really have special executive skills.
So, okay, that leads to my next question. When it comes to a job application, what is the advantages or disadvantages as a foreigner, or is there any? Do you, like you said, the disadvantage would be that you're a foreigner and citizens get priority, but then what are the advantages as well? Are you accepted more because you're a foreigner in some spaces, or is it all across the board foreigners are last when it comes to getting a job? Because what some would say is that y'all are taking jobs. That
Well,
foreigners
that's not
are
a reality. I want to debunk that
sure.
lie. So back to your question. What is the job that you applying for? Number one. I think we need to get into the nitty-gritty. What is the job that you're applying for? If you're applying for a managerial position, for instance, in marketing, just making an example, what are your qualifications? You're a South African, you come here with your master's degree from, think of a university, from Oxford. And here I am as a South African with a bachelor degrees from UCT. Who do you think will be picked? Especially if your papers are right. You fit the criterias, rather. Obviously, they'll choose you.
Sure.
Now, you're looking for a position as a house help, right? You, for instance, as a foreigner, because things are so difficult in your home country, you're willing to take whatever money your boss offers.
Yeah.
Myself as a South African, because of the rights that are given to me by the government, and I know my privileges, I will not take that same wage. Therefore, they'll pick you because you're willing to take the lesser
Lower wage.
offer.
Yeah, sure.
So it really depends.
Yeah, that's how
There
it
are a
is.
lot of experts in this country from foreign lands, but
Yeah.
it's on what level? What level?
Yeah, that's interesting because in America it's similar. You know, Black Americans, we've been fighting for our rights for 400 years there. So when it comes to us looking for job opportunities, we don't want pennies, especially when we know we put in more work than the counterpart, if you know what I mean. We put in 1,000 times more work and we're still getting paid less. So sometimes when immigrants come to the country, whether they're Black foreigners or whether they're Latino foreigners or Spanish foreigners, we kind of are upset with them in some cases because we would say they're taking our jobs, but in reality, they're just taking less wages. And we cannot be mad as another group of impoverished people at one group of impoverished people because they're getting money because we asked for more. You know, we are too good to take less. And because of that,
I don't think you're too good.
no, I'm giving you, that's the mentality.
Oh, okay,
Not saying that we are, I'm just saying the mentality is that we are too good to take less.
Yes.
We've done too much to take $3 an hour, $10 an hour. We need more than 15, and 15 is still low in America, but we need 20, 30, and that's what we're asking for. We're degreed. Our Black women hold the most degrees in America. They hold the most higher level degrees in America, you know, and then they come in the workforce and they get treated similar to women here, where they're put to the bottom of the totem pole just because they're a Black woman. So it makes us upset with foreigners. It makes us think that the foreigners are taking the job when really the jobs are being given away.
But who are these foreigners that we speak of? Because out of the foreigners that you mentioned, I never heard of a white country.
Yeah, so let me explain.
Yeah.
The white in America,
Because if you're coming from Czechoslovakia,
yeah,
you didn't mention those people.
because they're not taking jobs and not a lot of them are coming. And then what they do, let me explain.
Okay.
What they do is they integrate within their people group,
Okay.
but their racial group, they integrate with them and they blend in.
Okay.
You don't know the difference. So when we typically see immigrants, we're not thinking Euros. We're thinking
South America.
South America, Mexico, Central America, Africa, China. And so, well, they create their own jobs, but certain things like that. So again, it's not the foreigners' fault that they're taking less wages. The Euros aren't taking less wages though. They're not coming to America to get paid less in most cases. They're coming to America and getting the same amount as their counterparts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a deeper conversation to that in terms of how we see foreigners?
Yeah, I think we have allowed these borders to control how we look at each other as African people. I think the borders that we didn't create and the territories that we didn't create, the provinces, and you go down a list that we didn't create, have made us look at each other as different, have given us a reason to be divided. You know, they divided us for us. So all we can do is, yeah, for sure. And we just carry on what they've done. So a lot of people, even in SA, have their feelings about Zimbabweans. A lot of people in Zimbabwe, not a lot, but some have their feelings about people in SA, and it's all fabricated by media. The media promotes xenophobia. The media promotes the lack of jobs. So I just believe these people are trying to control how we think.
But who owns the media?
Oh well, we know we know we know exactly what they want to do, and honestly, we fall for it because the poverty is so hard for us. Just for all of us, we need any reason why our condition is the way we is. We would never look within. We would never say, well, what have I done to contribute to this? Yes. We always look at the outside sources, because then that gives us a reason to sulk in our own misery, because we can say, well, it ain't my fault. You know, it's their fault. It's them. And the moment we stop pointing fingers at each other and look within, we can at least control our environment. And then hopefully change it for others.
Okay.
Yeah. So, underpayments. So, again, black woman, foreigner. Are they paying people enough here?
Listen, it's all
I'm not asking is your job paying you enough, but
I'm not even gonna talk about my job. I'm poor, guys. I ain't got it.
But she living nice. She living nice when she poor.
I ain't got it. You know what? Once again, what space are you speaking about? Is it high level, degreed kind of jobs or not? You know? So when you are degreed and leveled up in terms of your education, you have got more of a negotiation room. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you know how to negotiate, number one. The problem with women, and I have to say, I was struggling with this in the past 3 years and I got over it. Thank God. It made my life so much better. You're just so grateful. Like, oh, I'm here. Oh, thank God. I can't believe it. Because you look at the people in the room and you're like, no one looks like me.
Right.
So when you're there, you're just so excited. You're willing to just take whatever they offer instantly. You're like, hallelujah. And then you snap out of it. Once you really work on yourself, you're like, no. I remember with my previous negotiations, went back and forth. I'm like, no, it's okay. They're like, okay, no, it's fine. Let's talk some more. And I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, and it's so difficult because we were raised to be comfortable with mediocrity, be comfortable with whatever is offered to us, and just be grateful for crumbs. We're conditioned to be like that as women, especially Black African women. Oh, we thank God, especially with religion in it, which is a story for another day.
Yeah.
It's made us not really believe that we can get more than what is offered to us. So with that said, once I started working on myself, surrounding myself with boss people, right? I'm like, no, man. I looked at the standard industry rate. My fellow white male colleague is getting this amount, and I'm getting 40% less. Why? While we're doing the same job.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I said no. So there is that issue, but the problem is women are not comfortable, nor are they confident enough. And I'm not saying everybody, once again. Some are not confident enough to say, no, I'm not comfortable with this deal. let's renegotiate, because they fear that there are 500 other women.
Jobs are scarce.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Once again, that somebody will jump for joy. So yeah.
Yeah. So there's a question from the comments from Noma Timba. Hello,
Hi,
Noma.
moms.
So, how do you even get your company to recognize you and your work as a Black woman?
How? I don't try. I just do. My work speaks for itself. Yeah. And then if you don't recognize me, and I feel it's time for you to recognize me,
Yeah.
I'll bring out my file and say, this is what was happening prior to me being here. This is what I've achieved after.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what steps can be taken just as Black people in general to foster equality within a workspace and just overall fair treatment? Do we have to create our own, or can we do it within this system?
The thing is, you can't go into a stranger's house and demand to be treated equally. And when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do, right? There's that thing.
Yeah, that's the same.
So build your own damn house. That's it. That's it. You have no business coming into my house and throwing around your weight and saying, Aretha, you must treat me like this, like this. I'll say, get out. Go build your own house. Create your own rules.
So, Aretha. Your name is Aretha. This is a side note.
Yeah.
Why is your name Aretha?
Oh, my late father, God bless his soul. He loved Aretha Franklin so much, and I think that's something that connected him and my mother. And they were obsessed with Aretha, and they said, no, we have to name our first child Aretha. So I was named after Aretha Franklin.
Wow. So what's your favorite Aretha song?
R-E-S-P-E-C. Put some respect on my name.
Yo, why is that the only song people know? I swear I hope you know more than RSPS. Yeah, that's funny. So, do you have an African name?
Yes, Vinji.
Vinji, which means
nothing.
Yo, like Shaniqua. So it's often observed that an issue of inequality and mistreatment can arise in workplace, even with Black leaders in positions of authority. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts of even Black leaders having to tread the line or walk on eggshells, or their job is also in jeopardy?
This goes back to something that I really hate that happens in America a lot, and I think Africans have adopted it. I'm the first Black woman in this, first Black winner in this, first Black. I hate it so much. It kind of gatekeeps. So back to your question, being a leader, most of the times you'll find that you're the first Black person there, and at times there's also some sort of intimidation between colleagues, because you're the only Black person there, only in some spaces, guys, only in some spaces. And you'll find that even some Black people don't treat other Black people better. You would assume that we would naturally lift each other up, but because of the competition, and there isn't much space, guys, there's this much room for us, and we're all fighting for that space.
Yeah.
So you're so worried that Aretha might take over, so you're not going to empower Aretha. And in terms of our leaders are taking orders from white people. They don't own the business.
Right.
Yes, they're in executive level, but they're not the owners.
Okay, do you think having a Black leader sometimes put a wedge between the people that are under them, or do you believe they just, like you said, they have their own bosses and they have to follow their boss?
So I've had Black leaders in the past and I've had white leaders. I'm in a company now that I've got a Black leader who is really the leader and an owner. And it's the most amazing space I've ever lived in.
Really?
Yes. I've never worked in a better working environment. I'm as happy as a pig in mud. I kid you not. I'm so happy. It's a mixed environment, but my boss, the person I report to, is a black man.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
And what's the difference?
Somebody who's traveled abroad, somebody who's experienced a lot, somebody who's extremely well-learned, and somebody who has a very relaxed personality.
Really?
Yeah. I love my boss.
That's great. Yeah. So, what's your goals of the future? Like, what is your plans? You know, I know you've traveled to a lot of places. You said if you could, you would live in Kenya. But what does the next 10 years look like for you? Or is it still grind it out in South Africa, figure out if you're gonna hit the jackpot or not? Or
I'm terrible at gambling.
There's plenty of betting places. Listen, all you gotta do is put your numbers in.
Waste of money for me. I'm not good at that. I really just want to create something that I can leave my child, my son, whereby my son does not have to go out and look for a job the way I did. He just needs to specialize in whatever field he wants to specialize in, and he knows my mother has a company, and he can now expand that company based off his knowledge.
His knowledge.
Yeah, not being useless, by the way. If you're useless, I'm not gonna hire you. So basically, I really just want to start a company. I've had a lot of ideas, business development, consultation, as well as production.
What type?
And media.
What type of production?
This kind of production.
Hey.
Behind the scenes, I don't want to be in the camera. I'm in front of the camera.
But you want to be behind the scenes?
Yes, behind the scenes.
So you thinking like podcasting, film, TV, reality?
Documentaries.
Docs?
Yes. I want to tell the African story. I feel that our stories are so diluted. I've seen a lot of them. And people need to know our history. Africans don't know where the fuck we come from. We've been fed white history in terms of how we were colonized. Who were we before colonization? Where do we come from?
Yeah.
So those are the kind of documentaries I want to create in the future.
I like that. So what are some similarities between Kenyan culture and South African culture?
I mean, what a question. What do you mean in terms of similarities? Similarities in
Like,
what?
we black, you know what I'm saying?
No,
like I can honestly say
we have Ubuntu, we care about each other. You know the difference. You know the thing is with East Africa, they made one, not all of East Africa, before I get attacked. You see, South Africa has got a lot of national languages that kind of separates us, right? So you'll sense there's a bit of tribalism, and there's also tribalism in Kenya, but I think, and also in other areas of East Africa. But the fact that we speak one cohesive language helps. That is the difference.
Do you feel Bantu languages are similar?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah?
They are.
Like, give me a word that's close.
Maklo and macho. I is maklo, macho.
Huh.
Yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Bantu languages being similar.
Yeah.
And
remember, we just spread out.
Yeah, we just spread it, and over time. Man, I can just go back. So so overall, would you say you've enjoyed, outside of the safety, you've enjoyed South Africa?
Can you repeat that?
Outside of the safety issue, you would say that you enjoy South Africa?
No, I love South Africa. I love South Africa. I think Joburg is quite fast because I stay in Joburg. I think East Africa is more relaxed, you know? So you've got that island feeling, but you're still hustling and bustling, but it's not as anxiety induced as Joburg is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure in Joburg. very fast moving, and there's no beach anywhere around unless you go to Durban or Cape Town or all the other places. But yeah.
So what is? I got a question. There's another question. What is your take on the Bible versus traditional African spirituality as it relates to our history? Do you feel like the colonialization started with, you know what? Scratch that. We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, I thought about it.
I divorced myself from Christianity a while ago. My mom almost had a heart attack because she raised me in a Christian household.
Yeah.
We used to go to Sunday school every day. I was a Sunday school teacher, mind you.
Oh, was you?
Oh, yes. I was teaching kids about the Bible.
Okay.
So I know the Bible inside out. And then as I grew, because my father was the opposite. My father was very traditional. My mother was a Christian.
Yeah.
And he would just drop us off at church. He wouldn't attend and pick us up. That's all he did. So as I grew up, I was like, okay, why is this man going?
Why he ain't going?
Then we spoke. I got to understand him. And everything made sense. Everything made sense. I am my father's child. I am my mother's child. If I look at my history, I don't know Jesus. Jesus doesn't look like me. Jesus is a Jew. I'm South African, Tanzanian, African, Ghanaian, Nigerian. I will not relate to somebody who doesn't look like me. It doesn't make sense. Besides other things, besides the fact that historically, Africans had their own way of doing things. Yeah. My father had his own way of doing things and it worked. I've got my own way of doing things and it works. Sure. Those who believe in Christianity, wonderful. I always say, this conversation is very tricky because you need to do what you need to do to make your life on this earth more peaceful, right? Sure. That's why we have spirituality. Why do we have it? Because as human beings, we can't fathom what's really happening here. We need external assistance. Yeah. So whatever that external assistant is, as long as it's not harming anyone else, do it. As long as it brings you peace. But unfortunately, a lot of Christians are judgmental. Hence, we have these conversations. Do what you need to do to bring you peace. That's my thing.
Are you at peace?
I really am. Can I be more peaceful? 100%.
What can make you more peaceful?
If I just didn't have to worry about money and work.
It's always money.
It's just money and work. You know, the anxiety of am I performing better, there's this deadline, there's that. You know, those are the only things that really give me stress. Yeah. On a day-to-day basis. Other than that, I'll literally be living in Kenya or Bali, meditating 3 times a month.
What's up with black folk going to Bali? We need to stop going around them people. It is not the move, y'all. Bali is not the move, okay? Listen, don't listen to what they talking about.
Listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say I'm going to move there. I'll go there. And just for meditation.
You can't find that in Tanzania?
No.
Come on. We need to bring the resorts to Africa.
I need to do a course on meditation. Then start something.
Yeah, start something. Listen, people show up. Listen.
In Zanzibar.
They will.
Really?
They will.
That's a business idea. Okay, listen, it's mine. Don't.
Hey! Don't take it, people.
Why not?
So, what are some personal experiences you have in just your time of traveling that you would never forget?
Seashells. I had the most amazing times. Seychelles, I don't know.
Seychelles.
Well,
Seychelles. You talking about the island? Yeah, Seychelles. Yeah. Listen, there's mermaids in the lagoon. They say don't go to the lagoon at night. Listen, I got a plan. I'm gonna do a live documentary on me going to Seychelles. I'm just planning it all out. Now I gotta get my insurance right. Because if these mermaids drag me in. Listen, there is people that see them.
Listen.
They crazy?
No, maybe they just have spiritual powers that I don't have.
All right, listen.
I haven't seen any, but that was the most amazing travel spot.
I heard there's a lot of Frenchmen there.
No, I saw a lot of black people. It's very Caribbean. They speak French, yes. Yes.
Okay.
And there's a lot of French foreigners that go visit.
Sure.
Very beautiful, extremely hospitable people. I remember we're just taking a walk with my crew, and a lady who owns like a guest house is like, come for lunch. We're like, no, we're just taking a walk. We've cooked lunch. There's enough food for everyone. Come and eat. And we just sit and ate. So lovely. Those people are so relaxed.
Really? Well,
and I'm not saying that they're wealthy. Obviously, the tourism makes a lot of money for the country.
I'm sure.
But the average person is not wealthy. But they're just so comfortable. They're so happy. It's such a happy country. That was my best traveling experience.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Worst UK.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what made the UK the worst. No, we ain't sorry. We ain't sorry.
No, I think the men and women are fabulous. Look good. They dress well. They smell wonderful. Everything looks great. But I'm a very homely person, right? After the hustle and bustle, when you really have to stay in a place, day to day, the mundane activities, right? What does that mean? People are so cold. You can live in a place you won't even know your neighbor.
Oh Lord, that sound like America.
There's no hi, how are you? Small talk. I love small talk. I know it bores people, but I like knowing my neighbor. I like talking to the people around me. You know, and emergencies can happen anytime.
Sure.
Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters. That's the only people that's gonna come answering. There ain't nobody else coming to answer.
So yeah, I just felt it was a very cold environment.
Yeah. Cold.
Beautiful people, beautiful buildings, beautiful everything, but emotionally very cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can feel that if you go to America too, so be prepared.
I haven't been to America, but if I do, I'll let you know.
Yeah, don't go. I'm trying to get people away from there. We gotta let them tank. We shouldn't be giving them no tourist money. We shouldn't be working for these folks no more. In order to speed up this BRICS process, we gotta stop putting money into this infrastructure.
Listen, shout out to Miss Pando, who is our Minister of International Relations. She's not backing down.
Yeah, shout out to her.
I love her so much. So my first degree was in international relations, by the way. So I'm quite a huge fan of this woman. The fact that America is trying to intimidate us and she's not backing down. So
yo, they're probably gonna kick me out of America. Keep it up. Listen, U.S., stop. Just stop.
They're sanctioned, I think yesterday. It was yesterday. If not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Your foreign affairs minister there in the U.S. sanctioned 43 organizations. 3 of them coming from South Africa. Because they've got ties to China, another has a tie to Russia. And Lady Pando said, not on my watch. We are going to continue the relationship with Russia. Regardless of what you think, America.
They're going to get me up out of here.
So I really love that woman because we are being pulled into a fight that we have no business in. No business whatsoever.
No.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern about, being an African American, Black American, whatever, in this country is when America becomes the enemy, I become the enemy too. And it's like, yo, these people oppress me too. Like, we trying to fight these folks too. Yeah. So it's like, I get lumped with them, and then next thing you know, I don't know what's going to happen to me when all this stuff really kick off. But hopefully, hey, listen, Ubuntu.
He'll be in East Africa by the beach. Making money.
Yeah,
Hey,
I like that.
Don't worry about the US.
I like that. I do. Yeah. So honestly, I'm glad I talked to somebody from East Africa because actually, that's the place I think I'm gonna get a citizenship. Yeah, I'm gonna still live SA the rest of my life, but just as it relates to dual citizenship, I think East Africa is the place because of the East African Federation. What changes can you see from the East African Federation based off of just on day-to-day travel? I heard Arusha, that's your city in Tanzania. Like I heard it's the capital of the East African Federation.
Arusha is the capital of Tanzania. No, Dar es Salaam, Arusha, Dodoma. Yes, no, it's Dodoma.
It's Dodoma, yeah.
It's Dodoma. Dodoma is the capital of Dar es Salaam, but Arusha is quite. Dodoma is the capital of Tanzania, and Arusha is quite a big city. It's by the mountains. That's where.
It's by Nairobi too, right? Well, like 3-4 hours away.
That's where Mount Kilimanjaro is. That region is Arusha and Moshi. Right. And then, so in terms of the East African Federation, listen, there's a lot of progression taking place in East Africa. The only difference is East Africans are not loud people.
No, you gotta be loud about this.
No, they're not loud. They're not loud individuals. Very relaxed. Let me just give you an example. If you go to East Africa, and East Africa consists of multiple countries.
Yeah.
You'll find a very wealthy individual. Simple looking. But they've got probably $20 million in their account. They're not loud, they're not boisterous. They don't like showing off. Very chilled people. It's a very chilled space. And no one really gives a shit, to be quite frank. Yeah, you're rich. Is that my money? How does it affect me?
Right. Hang on.
Yeah, we're not hype. I was gonna bring another country in there, but I'll be mutilated. The West tends to love
flashiness, gaudiness,
and kissing people's asses that have money. Yeah, so it's the opposite for East Africa. We don't really care.
Yeah, so let me break it down for y'all. So the East African Federation was put together by a bunch of countries. I believe it's South Sudan, it's Tanzania, it's Kenya, it's Rwanda, it's Congo, it's Uganda, and there's one more.
Kenya. You did mention Kenya.
Yes. So these countries have come together and created a faction for business, travel, and you name it. It's a total, the amount of people in this East African Federation is about 205 million people, making it one of the biggest factions in the world. The only ones that are bigger than it is the USA, China, and India. So outside of that, or in Nigeria, outside of that, East African Federation is massive. And
no, we're coming up.
Yeah, and this is without Ethiopia. This is without Eritrea. This is without Somalia. So in order to achieve that, it's phenomenal. And somebody like me who think Black unity is our biggest priority, they are starting it. They took a region and they made them one. And stay tuned, because I hear that Botswana and Namibia are also opening their borders for free trade, which is going to allow people to go back and forth visa free. So do y'all research, y'all. We are really doing some major things in Africa, and that's why I keep telling people, get in now while it's young, because 50 years from now, your children will suffer. It's the truth. It's the honest truth, because us as Black folk, we wait so long to jump on board and stuff. We like to see it happen. Like, oh, what you doing over there? Oh yeah, once it worked, give me a call. And
once it has worked, it's too late.
It's too late. And now you behind, and now you wonder why everybody else is elevating and you're stuck. And I think we need to get out of that mindset of just watching. We need to participate. We need to volunteer, take risk. I took a risk coming here. I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know the outcome. I just got my passport, and 7 days later I got on a plane.
Wow.
I was already preparing it, so I was already getting rid of stuff and putting myself in a position when I left, it wouldn't be much to leave, and that's what I did. So it's about taking those risks, because if I never took the risk, I would never be in this room talking to you. And that's all it takes, So stop pocket watching. Stop worrying about how much money people got, what they doing with their life, and go out and do it yourself, or go out and participate, because you never know. You may not be at the top of the totem pole, but you'll be on the totem pole. So yeah, I think what Africa is doing is game changing, and I'm hoping that more of the diaspora comes home, and more of the diaspora use their pounds, euros, dollar, to yen to invest in what's being created, because we can speed this process up if we stop working for euros. So yeah.
No, listen, I'm in agreement. I'm in complete agreement with you. But I think what we lack, unfortunately, as Blacks, is we don't have that risk thing, whereby we're willing to take risks. We're so cautious. And that's what other races have over us. They really don't care about risks. They'll take the risk, whether I fail or win. Let's do it. At least I did it.
Yeah.
And I want us to have that kind of energy because I think it'll really propel us further, especially in growing our continent. I always say that Africa is the god of this world.
Yeah.
Honestly, we have everything in this continent. Obviously, unfortunately, based on our historical occurrences, we are where we are due to greed, etc., etc. Can go on.
Yeah.
But we can change that.
I think so. And it just takes effort. It takes, like you said, it's taking a risk. Every day we take the risk of going to work for these people, and that ain't only giving us pennies. And we got to start taking those risks for ourselves and our family. And yeah.
This is my thing. So in SA we have this. I actually was trying to start an app with a friend of mine. Free business idea. For Africans, obviously. Whereby if you're looking for someone to do your plumbing, you go into this app and it'll show you black plumbers around the area. If you're looking for a salon, black-owned salon. If you're looking for a restaurant, black-owned restaurant.
We got something like that in America called Black Pages. It's just for black businesses. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to implement that here. But I know my people, they're not there yet. Because it's very simple. We complain about these organizations. We've had so many issues in South Africa whereby companies really ridicule black people and we'll strike and we'll complain for a month, then we're back there again. Why? Because we don't have options. Do we really not have options?
No.
Or do we not look at the options? Or maybe we don't support the options, because if you've got a little business, a pharmacy for instance, but not enough people are coming to you, obviously you can't grow.
Can't grow.
So put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, and start supporting our own,
That's it. And yes, we're going to be disappointed, guys. The same way I've been disappointed by white institutions.
Plenty times.
Multiple times, but I still give them a try.
Always give them a chance. We give so many chances.
And they've had so many years ahead of us to get this right.
How many times you got bad burgers at McDonald's? Like, come on, y'all.
But you still go back.
You still going back. You just going to go to another McDonald's.
Thank you.
In the same way we can not go to one black business, we can go to another one.
Thank you.
If you're disgruntled about customer service, realize that, as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So you got to start from somewhere. And we can start from each other. Invest in circulating a dollar within our communities. Or not the dollar, but the rand. In our communities. And the more we circulate it, the more wealth is generated. The more people have money. Instead of taking our money out of the Akasis and taking it to Santa, we need to keep it in the Akasis.
Listen, I don't mind if the money comes to Santa as long as it's a Santa that's owned by a black person.
Yeah, but all our money been going to Santa. That's why Santa is the richest square mile, as is bragged about every day.
Yeah, but at least own a piece. Maybe you're born a piece.
Man, can we get a piece of the square mile? Can we?
No, I actually don't care to have a piece. There's so much land in this country. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
No, honestly speaking, why can't black developers come together and build something?
Make their own Arania.
Yes. Why?
We letting them make an Arania. Why we can't make our Blackania?
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I'm with you on that. Yeah. This has been a good conversation. I really appreciate your energy and some of the stuff you're willing to talk about. A lot of people come and have conversations and they're hesitant on speaking on certain things because they're afraid of what South Africans may think or what foreign people may think. But the purpose of this is so that we can understand that everybody don't think the same, and everybody who look at black people don't think we are lazy, and everybody who is a foreigner ain't stealing your job. And once those things start getting debunked, we will be able to travel freely through Africa and not look at each other as different, because the AU is going to open these borders for free trade sooner than later.
That was the plan until they assassinated Gaddafi.
Yeah, Yeah, but honestly, it shouldn't have been an Arab doing our work for us.
Listen,
It should have
but
been us,
The difference is Gaddafi didn't see himself as an Arab.
but he was.
Yes, he was.
And and even the way he treated his people, I would just say I would have some rejection.
No,
because,
definitely. Listen, he was no saint, and I'm not trying to make Gaddafi a saint. He had a lot of problems, but I appreciate. You know, let's look at the good that he was trying to do. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Unite the African continent.
You know,
One. That's the one good thing I can say about Gaddafi. That's it.
You know, before Gaddafi, the AU was the Organization of African Unity,
Yes.
and before that, it was the Calabasas Group. And the Calabasas Group was trying to do that same thing before Gaddafi even existed. Before Malcolm X created the Organization of Afro-American Unity, the Organization of African Unity was trying to open up the borders.
But who was in the forefront? I'm just thinking.
The forefront of that movement was
the AU.
The AU.
Also, yes, I know. So Thabo Mbeki had.
Yeah, I mean, it was so many people that even like Haile Selassie.
Yes.
Haile Selassie was part of the Calabasas group, and he'd been talking about that. He gave 500 acres of land to the Black Americans as a refuge place in Shishimani. Like, so he was already trying to bring the diaspora home. Gaddafi was just trying to help Africa.
No,
they weren't thinking about the
100%.
diaspora.
I know that he was not thinking.
And we African too.
You are. But this is also my thing. Charity starts at home, right?
Sure.
Home. In order for us to be able to also help you, let's fix the issues that we have first. Then it'll be easier to bring you guys back home. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I have a theory
that
the issue of Africa is that its people are gone. The issue with Africa is the people were taken against their will.
Okay.
One of the problems of Africa is that some group of people was able to come into our country, take our people, and send them somewhere else. Once we sort out that problem, I think we can sort out the problems that happened after that, because all the problems that has happened have stemmed from them same colonizers who have taken our people. So we got to get our artifacts back. We got to get the people back. And once you have those back, you now can put together those pieces that we're missing. Prime example, we don't know African spirituality before colonialization because they took the artifacts that showed African spirituality. How much artifacts does the Vatican have underground? How many artifacts?
Which African spirituality? I'm aware of
all of them. All of them matter. No, there's no right one.
They do matter, and I'm saying that I'm aware of my African spirituality, and I hear what you're saying, and which is very important. But I want us to be able to do all of that at the same time. And I know it might sound unrealistic, but in order for us to move at a quicker time, I feel that let's fix the AU. Let's have one open borders. Let's open borders. As it is, think about it this way. We're busy fighting with our neighbors in Zimbabwe. How about you?
Yeah.
You want us now to be welcoming to our brothers from America. We can't even deal with our neighbors.
Well, y'all...
you understand? It's like, can we just deal with the basic problems that we have? Open up the borders. Let's have one currency. We don't have to have one leader. We can have, like, what's happening in America? You've got like a...
It's a lot of leaders.
Yeah, I know you've got one president, but you've got, what are they called, man, in every state?
We got aldermen, governors, senators. We got too much
like
going
that.
on.
So you have a senator in Tanzania, so not everyone feels like, oh, you're taking my country. A senator in South Africa, you know what I mean?
Not sure.
There isn't one authoritative
figure
body.
over the decision making.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what I'm thinking. Then after that, we can go further and now start discussing.
Well, I will say that Africa is more peaceful with me as a Black American than I've seen them with other neighboring Africans. So I don't think the issue would be whether they would accept us.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's because their image attached to America. You know, it's the you've been there. The intrigue.
Yes.
You know the. Wow.
And you're not there to take their jobs.
Oh no. We create our own. So and that's why I think there's a disconnect between y'all here is because y'all see that, I remember I made a post showing love to South Africans, and they're like, oh, you're home, you're South African, you're this. They're showing me love. But then I see other people in the comment like, oh, y'all do that to them, but then you won't do that to the Nigerian or Ghanaian. And it's like, well, we ain't so kind to the Caribbeans. We ain't so kind to the Afro-Brazilians or the Afro-Dominicans or Haitians. And so it's
a similar problem.
It is.
But isn't it, if you really go back, it comes back from the colonization program.
Yeah. Hate each other,
Yeah, that was the plan. And they really did good at it. They did a phenomenal job.
We're still affected, and everybody else is going on with their life.
Our children will have a better chance of not experiencing that. So we just have to unlearn
a lot of things, and fast, and create the platforms where we can unlearn. One thing I do have from America is some skills. I've been a part of Hollywood, so what I can do is I can teach people different skills as it relates to a film set. Maybe I know y'all got your own skills. Y'all been I think South Africa was one of the first people with cameras. So that was like in the early 1902 or something. It was early. So I know y'all are advanced in film, but who make the most money in movies? And it's because Hollywood got a certain type of magic, a Hollywood magic that most people ain't figured out yet. And that's an advantage that I can have, or I was a farmer, sure, I can't teach nobody how to farm here, but I'm sure someone can teach me how to farm better for myself. So I just think the skills we all have, share these skills, because that's how we grow our culture. That's how we grow our culture as one people, as a race of people. Because you think when the Euro got the boom booms, the biggest ones, who they trade with? Their people first. They say, you need this type of protection too. We're going to go ahead and develop this in your country. And that's why they sanction all the countries that are developing it as well, because they say, well, we didn't give it to you. We didn't give you this knowledge, so how did you learn? So we need to follow suit of how they move with each other, and we need to start moving with each other that way. We need to create these bridges. Instead of waiting for the bridge, we need to be the ones who create it.
So in essence, we need to unite. That's it.
Yeah. It would eliminate all these workforce problems. It would eliminate everything. And not just unite like we're friends, but like unite we're family. Yeah. So, my people, we're coming to a close. This was really nice.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It was really lovely.
You're welcome, Aretha.
You forced me to get into topics.
Yeah.
But it was really lovely, and I hope you guys watching got something out of this. I'm really excited to see your comments.
Yeah. And as always, family, again, I do this for y'all. I do this so y'all just get out that cocoon, that comfort zone, and just explore more. There's so much of the earth that y'all can explore, especially considering we don't really even leave our cities, our towns, our states. So it's important for you to just be willing to take the risk, and considering if you can't afford the Americas, the West, move in Africa. It's big. It's a lot for you. So thank you once again. Thank you, TikTok family. Y'all be coming through for your boy as always. And yeah, like, share, subscribe. It's gonna be posted on the YouTube channel tomorrow. Thank you.